some of the leading lights, the illustrious men and women that you have featured in this edition?
Oh wow, yes. Thank you for that. That's a brilliant question. Because first of all, we have to give thanks to you know, also known as the Pope, because in Vodou in Haiti they have a, should we say, a hierarchy that they've established. You know, they've established it as a religion to Max Beauvoir, who was the most eminent of the they call them it's like the head of the Vodou system. You know, he unfortunately passed away last year. He's in the film. Also Sobon Fusome, the Gara elder and author. She's also in the film, and she passed away 2 years ago. So yeah, it's those are two in there. We also have the High Sangoma, Credo Mutwa of the Zulu traditions. We also have Professor Smalls of New York University. We also have Mambo Doherty, who's also a strong Pan-Africanist, as well as an initiate in the Vodou system. We also have Nana Camille Cabra, who's very well known for her, you know, creative expressions, African dance. And we also have Dr. Bempa, who is an Akan biochemist by trade, but also from a lineage of what they call the people who dress or who clean the spirits of Akan chiefs and elders. So these are some of the names that we have.
All right, beautiful. It's very, very comprehensive. But I love the fact that there's a good balance of masculine and feminine expertise in there, Brother Dalian. All right, so let's get to this question now, because you've got this thing about Ancestral Voices, spirit is eternal. And one of the things that we're looking at today is whether we need a new faculty of interpretation for our traditions, our African spirituality. So in terms of this journey that we're on, in terms of re-Africanizing ourselves spiritually, from what your research and your journeys that you've been on, have Abrahamic faiths had an influence even in terms of how we practice African spirituality today?
Most definitely, most definitely. And you know, this question that you've asked is so broad. So I'll I'll try and pick up some of the points that more come to mind immediately, and then you can probe me, and I'm sure we can bring in others. One of the first things being, I guess, the way some of the custodians of the traditions now practice it. It's become quite commercialized. Even if we look at something like Santeria, for instance, as America and Cuba told their relations, there was a report that just came out, it's contributing about 20% to the Cuban economy. Many people just coming in for initiations and whatnot. Whereas what potentially can happen, and is happening, you know, because we see this with some of, I guess, the Nigerian Babalaos themselves. You know, Santeria to give in like a simple initiation is something in the range of about £3,000. And then the initiation is told to you as if what you're seeking is external to yourself, which is a classic of Abrahamic traditions. Because you know, God and all of its manifestations have nothing to do with you. It's out there, and you have to seek it. They don't tell you that really you should be looking to activate it within before you can see its expressions outside. So that's one of the main influences, this commercialization. Because you know, there's still some priests who work in the old ways. You know, you come and see them for a reason. You then, after you've got, should we say, the outcomes, or even if you've not got the outcome, you show appreciation based on what you can offer and what you can get. Whereas now, sometimes you go and see some of these people and it's like, here's my fee. You know, let's deal with my fee. But
what if somebody says to you, what in reality, traditionally speaking, people would have understood that when the priest or priestess or babalawo or whatever comes to see you, that you're supposed to give in this way or that way. We lack that understanding now. People understand money, and so the people have to ask for money.
Of course. They also have children. I'm not knocking them. Because everybody has to live. However, I think from what I've seen and some of what I've experienced, they still don't add that extra, should we say, level of information that tells you that, you know what, even you coming here for me to read you, I'm only reading, if you want to call it, your energy signature. I'm not taking anything out of thin air. I'm reading what you're bringing to me. So giving them that extra level of, if you want to call it, confidence, or rather self-understanding. For me, I think that's important.
Right.
From what I've seen and most of what I've experienced, that's not what the case is.
Right.
A friend of mine said they give you trinkets, and then after a while, when the trinket doesn't seem to be working, you then get dissatisfied. Do you understand? Because you're looking into the trinket when you should be looking back into yourself.
All right. So where are we going then for the guidance to basically steer us away from that commercialization back to the essence of what our practices are?
I think that journey will be twofold, brother, you know, because this year is a long journey, you know. You don't start 2 months, you know, you see maybe 1 or 2 signs and wonders, you're like, then the 3rd month you don't see anything, 4th, 5th, 6th, the whole year has gone by now, you haven't seen anything. Then you can easily start to think, okay, you know what, this is just some, again, we fall back into superstition. So it's, I'll say for us to get there, the main thing is we need to get this into a mainstream discussion. It needs to become normal. And I'm saying it as if it's abnormal, but it's not. Hopefully you can understand where the point is, because it's been put in a certain place. We need to bring it out of that place, and then we need to start kind of discussing it. And you know, from the brilliant interview you gave me on Saturday, you know, we got into some of that, because it's Brazil. It's where it really dawned on me just how they understand it, because as soon as we got there, the 3 of us who were doing the interview, because first they were whispering among themselves, so we're like, okay, what's this person talking? Then they start saying, you're saying, you're good, you're this, and then they explain to us how they know this is kind of the energy we've brought into their space. Do you understand? So there, the study, they go deep with it, whereas in other places, people are just looking for outcomes. That then becomes, again, it's like prosperity gospel. You know, you only pray because you want something. You know,
and this is we find, and I have to say, we find this a lot in the quote unquote conscious community, whereby people use things like the law of attraction, and it's all about putting out into the universe so you receive. You know what I'm saying? The work, the idea of service and these kinds of things are on the back burner, so to speak. The idea of I don't want to use the word struggle, but the fact that if we're talking about liberation, that it's hard work. It's not something that you meditate and you attain liberation. You know what I'm saying? There's some work that needs to go on after the meditation. You know what I'm saying? Like we turn it into a very, very kind of it's like a gym mentality. You go to the gym and exercise a little bit. And you know what I'm saying? The kind of thing. So I hear exactly where you're coming from. Okay?
No, I was going to ask you Dalian. So in regards to what Shakara is explaining here, many of us from the Caribbean, we go to Motherland, and within 3 weeks we come back and have a chief. Explain that. I mean, is that possible?
Well, you see, again, it's possible in that you've been given a title, but whether you have the ability to exercise that, what that title comes with, is another thing, you know. And this is part of, you know, we could blame the influence of colonialism to a degree, because then what most of the Africans have realized is, well, we don't seem to have any ability to exercise any power. However, we know people are seeking a connection, so if we start selling out these titles, you know, in a sense, the person who's come gets a form of identity, but then even then it's a kind of false sense of identity, because a chief, a chief is someone who's meant to be looking after their community. That's kind of what you should be doing. So if you've just been given a title and you can come back and then sell it to other people, but who are the people's interests who you're serving? Where's the land that you're developing on the motherland for that entire community? So I don't mind if say you're a chief. Let's see that developmental aspect as well, you know, because you have a community to serve. You have access to land. Where the people you're bringing back to help develop that land, and how you making sure you're gonna then protect that space you're developing. So some of these things, it needs to come with, but the kind of buying of the titles and whatnot, really, yes. I don't want to offend anybody, but it's kind of like a scam.
Sure. The other thing I was going to say to you is that there are a number of non-Africans that have been initiated, quote unquote, into our system, and have become Babalawo, Shantihini.
So them say.
What's your perspective on that?
Yes. Well, you know, it's very interesting. You asked that question because I was speaking to a Nigerian friend of mine, and he made a very important, very important comment. Because one of the things that perhaps Africans are quite good at is, you know, if you've come to them and they realize that this is all you seek, you've just come for the surface, then let me give you the surface. Because if that's what your, should we say, your ego or your vanity wants, maybe you'll fulfill that. So here's this title, you like it, you go ahead with it. I've even seen non-Africans and students, you know, they give them a daughter to marry, to procreate, to then join the line. Yes, and it's, you see, again, is this is what the scarcity that has been created by these systems that exploit African resources and people in general. Yes, so because you're in this position where I guess you're thinking, I have access to nothing, then, you know, if I can make a little money here, then let me make it. But really, you'll find that deeply they won't share the deeper aspects of what you really need. They just sell it off that superficial level, and you might think you've actually attained something. It goes back to the same trinkets, you know. You think you've got it, yeah, I've got the essence of this, you know, this Babala, he gave me a shrine, but man might have 10 different shrines. Maybe the one he gave you is just, I don't know, one that he might have used however long before. So there is, you can call it a pawn game going on, but then again, it kind of falls into the way they say, I guess these so-called 419 scams work. You know, if you're sitting at home and you receive the email from somebody claiming that he has 4 billion that he needs to run through your account, and you're thinking that African is stupid, let me give them my account details. You give it to them and they rather take money from you. Who's kind of to blame here? You know, it's both of you really. You know, so I think these are some of the elements at play here. But in general, no. I think in some terms of substantial value, not really, not that much.
So, Brother Dalian, I mean, you've done a documentary.
Yes.
It's given a lot of information on African spirituality, and people are going to learn a lot from it. Yes. But in terms of how we develop our spirituality, we've asked a lot of questions in terms of how we're going to stray commercialization, non-Africans being initiated, and superficiality.
Yes.
Is it still important, to one study African spirituality, to becoming initiated into a system or systems, formally Iyalode or Babalawo are some of the more popular titles that we know of, right? Is that still important? Yeah, and if so, where do people go if they're looking for the true, authentic experience and service in terms of, you know, these systems?
Yes, another very good question. I'll say, you see, as we've discussed here many times before, really, because we live in these times, we kind of have to force into a box that we might want to call religion or spirituality or whatnot. But this really is just the way you're supposed to be. Yes, this is you, every aspect of yourself. You know, how you treat people, how you think, everything that you do. So it's very important first that you do some work on yourself first. Yes, and most importantly, get that connection with your ancestors, because from there you get, I will call it, the most important knowledge. From there you get a lot of the guidance that you need, because then when you meet, you know, it's not all Babalaos that quote unquote are good ones. You know, some are also in it just for the money. You know, and because they were just born into a certain family, they realize there's money to be made. Why not? I'll just front this image. So yeah, but then when you have that grounding from yourself and from your own ancestral lineage, I said, when you meet different people, you can start to you start to know, yes, of course, and you know, things will happen and it will show you to either go here, go there, or somewhere else. And I think when you've done that work, you will then realize whether you need that initiation or not. And even if when you do that initiation, because there's still knowledge that they don't share beyond. Yes, and as you get, should we say, up into the system, you realize there's also secrecy beyond what you never hear about. Yes, it doesn't matter how long the colonial oppression has gone on. There's still houses with knowledge that have never left that house. Yes, so what, in a sense, as they say, when you're ready, the teacher will appear. So you do that work, you will know which direction to go. But it's very important to do that work first, because if you don't, you know, as one other Okonfo told me, you know, there are a lot of chemists in Ghana, you know, they know what herb to add what to for it to maybe spark a flame. And you would look at them and be like, wow, you know, this is the person. And all they know is just a trick, really.
So I mean, there are no easy answers to these questions. No, of course not. I'm saying it's deep, and Mama Kai mentioned the 3-week initiations and them kind of things. There, I think a lot of us are over here now. It's not even that. We read a book, and you know what I'm saying, or you know, it's just a vibe. We've decided that meditation is a thing. We meditate, and we've come to all of these conclusions. I see a lot of people doing all madness on Facebook, and they're doing spirit readings through the screen, and you know what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that these things are not possible. I'm just saying that I just sometimes question the level of work and that an effort that people have put into being able to master these disciplines.
That's right.
I just was going to say that this is a process, and this is a system of initiation which didn't happen in a week, 2 days, 3 days. It's years. So you know, when some people say, I mean, there are people that are given certain gifts in terms of can see, can read.
That's right.
That's from, you know, that's what you're given. But even that needs to be cultivated.
Definitely. Definitely.
So somebody just comes and says, oh, I'm this, I'm that.
I'm reminded of when Mambo Amma came. She shared with us because she said she like what you're saying. Mambo, you know Mambo Amma Mazama.
No.
You must have you heard the name before. Mambo Amma Mazama. You know the name. But she when she came, because she was at Mama Afrika Culture with us, and we were asking her questions, and basically we were asking about her initiation into Vudan as a priestess, and she said, you know, what she can tell us, because she said that there are certain things that she's accepted that if she shares outside of a certain space, she will lose her life. This is the vow that she has made, right?
That's right.
But she was sharing what she could share of her initiation process with us. She shared, and it's no joke business. Like, it's no joke business. You have to be in some different state of consciousness to be able to achieve what she has achieved in terms of the level that she has gotten to.
That's right.
You know, and I understand that why, especially in terms of where we are at the moment, we need guides.
Yes.
And so people are looking for those who are initiated as a guide to finding our true self. Because like I say, there are so many secrets, but if you have access to those who are guided and who have gone through that, then it's half the battle won.
No, definitely.
Yeah. So in saying that, now when we came to the launch of the book, I was at the launch of the book, and a conversation ensued because our brother Robin Walker, who also features in the documentary, he ventured to suggest that when you go to Africa, and I think he used Ghana as the example, when you want to find Muslims, there's a big mosque, and you know where to find them. They're all there, and they know where they're going. When you want to find Christians, there's a big church, and you know where that is. That is. And there are no large edifices, visible places to find African spirituality. And we had, after our conference, we had a big debate about whether this is important or not. How important is it, do you think, especially in places like England, for African spirituality to be visible? For places where people ask, where can I go to practice an African spiritual faith? People can say, Godeso, Yaso. How important is that?
You see, for the psyche, I think it's very important.
Right.
Yes, and again, you see, as I mentioned on earlier about the trinkets.
Yes.
When you make the mistake to then say, I can't do or have this connection without the edifice, that's when you're in big trouble.
Right.
Because you then just assume that everything needs to only take place in that space.
Right.
Whereas as we're here, we can breathe, can't we? The air is here. That we don't need to go and contain it in that corner to say we can draw on the guidance of Oya as an example. Yes. But in terms of, I guess, our social conditioning, yes, we need to see that, because these things become symbols. And let's not forget, symbology is a very important part of our culture too. Yes, where all our stories you can find in a set of masks, for instance, or a set of carvings. So we understand the way symbology works. So it's very important for us to have that, because again, then people know we can come into this space. And if someone is acting off tangent in this space, we can hold them accountable. I think it's very important, because the way it's been kept underground, you find a lot of, for lack of a better word, charlatans who are, you know, ripping people off big sums of money, telling them they can do X, Y, Z, and again, using those same chemical tricks that I mentioned earlier. You know, they mix a beer this with a beer this, boom, you see something and you're blown out. So we need that edifice to show that, you know what, we also have a space where you can come. And you've seen this in the space, the small spaces that we've had where we've had discussion. People share. You know, they don't go outside and do that. They're comfortable in that space. Yes, because they know they are more like-minded spirits. So that's why it's very, very important.
All right, and now we're Kings and Queens. We're talking to Brother Dalian Adofo, the co-producer and director, along with his good wife, Kings and Queens. We never neglect to mention Sister Verona on Afrikan Spiritual in Alkebu-Lan. And you can call in shortly, not quite yet, but shortly on 0207 193 0174.
The only de-brainwashing station.
Well, I'm going to ask.
Rushing.
Oh, no, really, the train.
One more question. We're not going to I'm telling now, Kings and Queens, African Speaks of Alkebu-Lan. We're asking the questions. Abrahamic religions, will we ever give them up? And if we are going to give them up, we need guidance, Kings and Queens, and, you know, vessels through which we're going to fill, you know, what is being lost to us, Kings and Queens. So we are speaking to Brother Dalian Adofo, and the launch of Ancestral Voices, to the premiere of Ancestral Voices, to be taking place on Saturday, the 16th of September at the Ritzy in Brixton, Kings and Queens. Check out ancestralvoices.co.uk for all information. The tickets are going fast. I encourage you that if you want to get in, you have to move very, very quickly to make sure that you get in. All right, 07377 920-703 is the number to text in, Kings and Queens. You can text in right now on 07377 920-703. Brother Dalian, this thing about new faculties of interpretation and us being able to evolve, from one consciousness into the next. One of my criticisms, I say criticisms, I say one of my observances in terms of how we need to evolve. I'm born and raised in African spirituality. But I think, and you can tell me if you agree or not, I have an observation that at this particular juncture, we have spent a lot of time and necessary time critiquing Abrahamic religions. That's right. But I think because of the need to do that, it has developed an imbalance whereby we're not doing enough teaching African spirituality. I wonder if you agree with that observation.
I agree with that 100%.
Okay.
100%. And this is why, if you know, because you've been with me on this journey from day dot. So you've seen how, obviously, with the first film, that's what it was. We had to generate that.
Yes.
We need to throw away the old paradigm. And then introduce the new paradigm. But then we stand there, should we say, the possibility of then focusing too much on that. Yes, it's like how I say all the time, you know, when my mom, who's passed now, was alive, I'll be in her house. Sunday morning, you switch on the TV, there's this Joshua guy from Nigeria, and he doesn't talk anything really about the Bible. He's talking about how he's getting rid of demons and this who are from the indigenous. So I even wrote an article that said that, you know, they don't focus anymore on their gospel, they focus on that. So when you're doing that, what you're doing is you are leaving that behind. I agree with you 100% on that. It's important that we can, because there's so much work for us to do. The way we need to bring forth that education, the way we need to structure the frameworks in which people can learn, you know, the kind of psychological even practices that we can give people, you know, which we might call ritual, to allow them to start getting that, if we want to say, the right way of thinking. It's very important, because as they say, your energy goes where your attention is. And so we need to put our attention on how do we not even reconstitute, but how do we bring it back, so that, you know, people can have a true understanding and move it forward. Brother Leader, so now let's bring you in on this point. I'm sure you've been enjoying our brother. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, immense. You know, Brother Dalian, give thanks and praises for your energies, for your commitment, and for your connection with Mokolo, the great ancestors.
So now, brother, you say on this question, brother, what in terms of us developing ourselves, because we can't develop ourselves if we're continuously analyzing Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. So is that, do you agree with my observation? Do we need to do more work in terms of teaching African spirituality? Like events whereby we don't even talk about Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. What we're talking about is African spirituality and how we're going to redevelop and reconstitute ourselves in that framework.
That's what the Alkebu-Lan Revivalist movement is all about. That is what the Alkebu-Lan Revivalist movement has sought to demonstrate and project over the last 30 years of its existence. That is why we have something called Shumira. Shumira, when we bring our people, the community together before the African shrine, for us to engage in expressing our African spirituality, evoking the spirits of our great ancestors, honoring the deities of Mama Africa, the Orisha, the Abasom, the Neteru. You know, this is what we do. We have, and these are gatherings of families. We have elders, we have middle-aged people, we have young people, we have children, we have babies in the womb, you know, who are present and who are all engulfed in this energy. But of course, beyond, and this goes beyond even teaching African spirituality, it's living and manifesting African spirituality. That is where the power really is. We have to teach it as well, especially as we have been so removed from it for so long. Yes, we have to teach them. By the way, we also have to engage in critiquing the Abrahamic religions. I hear the essence of the question: are we doing it too much at the expense of teaching, living, manifesting our African spirituality? Effectively, but be clear that we are engaged in spiritual warfare. The Abrahamic religions have declared war on us. Read Exodus, read the book of Exodus in the Bible. That's spiritual warfare that the Hebrews declared on our Egyptian ancestors, our Kemetic ancestors, as spiritual warfare. So that's a battle that we have to fight. But we are just as much engaged in that spiritual warfare when we pick up the calabash and pour libation. You know, that is fighting that war against the enemy. But more importantly, we are, as Brother Dalian put it very, very succinctly and correctly, it is us being. There's some power in that, you know, just being us, just being African. Yeah. The other point I want to make is beyond even beyond the gathering around the shrine and engaging in that spiritual act of, let's call it, we call it Shumira in the Shona tongue. Let's call it, for the sake of interpretation, let's call it worship. So that doesn't explain it all, but let's call it worship. We come before the shrine and we engage in these enactments, these spiritual rituals, the symbolism of which is as important as the spiritual energy that we evoke. All of that is extremely important. But beyond that, what is equally important is how that informs the way we bind together as a community, and we build ourselves, we establish our social order as a community, we establish our political order as a community, we engage informed by our spiritual systems, we engage in community building, in institution building, in nation building, that will enable us to take full control of the 360 degrees of the African life cycle, from the womb to the tomb and beyond. And ultimately, that is what our African spirituality is about. And so I take the point, the very, very important, critical point that Brother Dalian made about these individuals who claim to have been ordained as you know, Babalawos or whatever it is. They go to Africa for 5 minutes and they come back as Babalawo or Ashanti and what have you. Where is the community that you have built, that you are serving? Where is the regenerative work that you have done? Our communities have been attacked, our spiritual systems have been attacked and to some extent destroyed. Where is the rebuilding work that you are doing in terms of bringing the people together, inspiring the people, building social units of African people around our spiritual systems? Where is that? And if there is no evidence of that, then that person is not really manifesting the work of an African spiritual leader. I don't use the word priest, but let's say spiritual leader. You know, it's not our language. Fish around for the right word.
And you know what it is as well? It's not even just that, you know. It's the fact that it's another subject for another time. But our languages, there are. If you speak about Babalawo, you're speaking about Ifa tradition. So it's not like, just what I'm saying. So it's like when we say priest, a lot of the time people use the word priest as a generic term for all of them, if that makes sense. Just what I'm saying. So it's one of them things, and it's an evolution that we have to be conscious of, because we may find in that evolution that we find unifying terminology in African languages for all of our systems that represent the spiritual leaders of all of our systems. But yeah, we're just not there yet. And
the answer is also with the things, you know, Babalawo, father or Iliadawo, father or mother of mysteries, the mystery system. But a father, a mother, a father or a mother is one who has responsibility towards a family, a people. You know, the Ashanti Hini is a leader of his people or her people. It's about peoplehood, you know, and it's not about the individual, but it's the service. That individual has been mandated to render a certain service to the people, you know, and that's what we have to remember. That is what we have to remember.
So now the text here says, "Is there a holy book for African spirituality?" That's from Thomas.
All right, I'm going to get to ask that question, Kings and Queens, but I have more questions, but I'm going to forego my questions for the sake of your questions, Kings and Queens. 020719301774. The lines are now open, Kings and Queens. 020719301774.
Our subject this evening is Abrahamic religions. Will we ever give them up?
We are speaking to Brother Dalian Adofo, the co-producer and director of Ancestral Voices, Spirit is Eternal, Kings and Queens, the #1 documentary series in our lifetime, Kings and Queens, giving us the information that we need, a comprehensive view of African spirituality in its totality. We have Brother Nick on the line. Brother Nick, welcome to Africa Speaks with Alkebu-Lan. What's your contribution this evening? Brother Dalian Adofo.
You asked a question, Shakara. Where could we go to practice African? What did you say again? Practice African
spirituality. Yes.
Yeah. And then Brother Leader Mbandaka said, the most powerful thing is us. Us, you know, we are just being us. It's powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to Brother Leader Mbandaka, and I'm going to say this: practicing an African spirituality from within, inside ones and ones. Many call it meditation. Yeah, we are. You know, we can practice it from within. We are spirits we are humans having a spirit experience.
Yes.
Most of us use smoke substances or, you know, or other substances to experience so-called whole and medi vibe. Yeah. However, that only melts up or deposits impurities and parasites and bacteria in the body, which takes its toll earlier or later on in life, depending on the amount of use that you use it for. I don't use nothing, and I meditate. Know the experience of the ancestors. I know exactly what it's all about. So that's what I just wanted to put out there. And I wanted to ask Brother Dalian the question: how does he? I mean, what's meditation for him? And you know, what's the process?
Give thanks, Brother Nick. Brother Nick, they're taking a shot at the holy Aisha Marijuana, Kings and Queens. 0207-193-0174. That's a very controversial statement there from Brother Nick.
Don't forget Brother Thomas's question.
Yes. Do you agree, disagree? 0207-193-0174. You can text us 07-377-920-703. Brother Thomas's question was:
is there a holy book for African spirituality?
Yes. In terms of a holy book, you see, the simplest answer really is you can't put all of creation into a book. Yeah, who says that book is holy? By which standards do we judge it as being holy? And what does it bring forth from those, should we say, pages that then makes it holy? The holy book in African spirituality is, yes, you the individual and your mind. So as many Africans as they are, is as many holy books as there are walking around. Because you know, we have that saying, when an elder dies, it's like a library has burned down. Yes, should we say the holy book is you as you're developing along. So it's that wisdom that you've acquired, that knowledge you've acquired over your lifetime. We cannot put it all into a book, because even as where we have ancestors being born in the moment now, everyone's coming out with different information that is needed in that movement forward. To say you can have a book that is stuck in a time and it can then stretch forward however many generations. Again, you're falling for that Abrahamic kind of
Go ahead, Brother.
Okay. I'm going to...
Sorry, probably sorry, we do have a caller, so I don't know if probably should answer that question afterwards. Take the caller. I kind of realize you're going to go in or something.
Yeah, that's but please bring it back to this.
We have Brother Kwame on the line. Tell Mara, how would you like to join the discussion this evening? Brother Kwame?
Yeah, greetings. Tell them to get Mr. Adofo.
Thank you.
And
Brother Adofo.
We can never get rid of the Abrahamic religions, because it's become a part and parcel of us as so-called one of the Africans. But more importantly, the people who have got a financial interest in keeping us having these Abrahamic religions. For example, in Ghana, I know there's priests who basically make $1 million a year from our people going to church. So there's an interest in keeping that line going in order for them to mission themselves.
$1 million a year is pretty cheap.
It's not about business. For many Africans now, these so-called priests, or men of God, it's about business. It's not about taking souls. And if they let go of what they preach to be the truth, they ain't going to daily bread, because that's one of the biggest things in Africa now: religion, spirituality. Some of these churches, in Ghana, is like hotels. Yeah, that 5-star hotels. It's like you're the Hilton Hotel. So the power and the enormity, right, that our people have towards these Abrahamic religions. But one thing that I want to say is that in terms of this African spirituality, most of Africans who practice African spirituality are not doing it for the right reasons. So for example, so in Ghana, you have the Malams or Chame or Kung Fu. Like, these people are doing it because it is money. Like, the same way that you have the pastors doing the propagating the Jesus Christ, same way that you've got Africans twisting, right? For example, you have people in Ghana twisting African spirituality, right, to make money and to sway people for money. For example, you've got to pay down, I can get you a wife tomorrow. $1 million. Well, that's sort of a crowd party. You can go to the comfort or go to this manner, right? So people have adulterated African spirituality for their own selfish purpose gains. So they have to remember that. But to answer nothing, you have a wrong session. If you want proper African spirituality, in Ghana, for example, you go to IAC in Kumasi, where there's a 2 for days, you proper African spirituality there. I've been myself, I've even put that nation. So I think that's something to put on this one Tuesday. That's powerful. You the golden stool. That's powerful. Like they said, it is there, but it's a rare commodity. Different.
Thank you very much, Brother Kwame from Nottingham. And hopefully we're going to get Ancestral Voices in Nottingham. I should let you know, Kings and Queens, that Ancestral Voices is being launched and premiered internationally. Brother Dalian and Sister Verona have done some serious work, and they're doing it big, Kings and Queens. They're showing us the way to do it in 2017 in terms of getting that message out there. We're talking about in Barbados. We're talking about at the same time as it's going to be premiered in London, it's going to be premiered in Ghana. We have a network, Kings and Queens, and we're doing some work. We're going to try and get it in Jamaica as well, Kings and Queens. Most definitely have to get it in Jamaica, you know what I mean? So yes, Kings and Queens, it's international and in the United States of America as well. So we've got an international film going on our hands, Kings and Queens. So we give thanks for the lessons and the example that Long Belly Films are showing. Yeah, we've got another caller on the line. Oh, Brother Nick, you got 1 minute, Brother Nick.
Yeah, very quickly, Shakara.
Yes, sir.
Take my call again. Thank you very much.
No problem.
I'm not against the use of marijuana or smoking it.
I drove that around, Brother Nick.
We're all different. We're all unique.
Yes, sir.
That's right. Drinking it is better
That's smoking it.
I can't get my head around it.
We agree.
People smoke. Okay,
we agree. Yes, and even steaming is better than smoking. In fact, even in our ancestral traditions, there are ceremonies in which things are inhaled and these kinds of things. You will see these things. You know what I'm saying? But I was joking, Brother Nick. I'd like to be sarcastic on the radio sometimes. And a circular. Yes, Brother Nick, you were saying about the book.
The book, yes. And I'm going to mischievously disagree with Brother Dalian.
Mischievous, yes. No problem. We can have a discussion. Not disagreeing. You're sharing.
Yes, yes.
So we do have a book.
Yes.
It's called Nature.
Right.
I didn't say I was being mischievous.
Yes.
It's called Nature. It's called the Laws of Nature. That's how our ancestors found the creator, the creative essence in the universe through the study of the laws of nature. Nature is the book. That's what our ancestors studied. And African spirituality seeks to harmonize with the laws of nature. It's informed by the laws of nature. And every element of nature is a chapter in the book, and every individual is a page. Whether Dalian is a page, I'm a page, you are a page. That's the book. That is the book. And this is why the ancient Kemetians said, "Sia ekesia ek petuneteru." Know thyself, O man, O woman, and you will discover the secret of the heavens and the gods. Yeah, and that ties in with the point that Brother Dalian made earlier on. Yeah, that the essence of the divine is in you. That's what the ancestors are saying. And by knowing yourself, you discover that.
So, Brother Leader, in our history, we have written books. You know what I'm saying? The most popular that we know, well, I say books. The Medjugorje is not necessarily a book, but it is a text, in various forms. So, either in script form, papyrus, or on walls, primarily. Then there's the Oduifa, which is strictly speaking, again, not a book, but has been compiled into book form in recent.
But the question was,
no, is there a book?
Do we have
a book? No, you don't have a book.
And I'm saying we have a book.
Which
the book is nature itself.
No, but my question though is what is the relevance of these sacred texts though, in the sense of?
Let me just finish that sentence. So those written texts of our ancestors are like all elements of nature, chapters in the book. They've captured the essence. And they have expressed it in book form, but we also express it in dance. We express it in drama, in the rhythm of the drum. In our chanting, in our rituals.
So it's a living thing.
It's a livity, as Rastafari.
It's organic.
That powerful word that we get from Rastafari, livity, divine living. That's how we live.
So can I just say the way Brother Mbandaka just put that, that's excellent. I might have to borrow that. Because
it's not mine, sorry.
Exactly that. Definitely. We can't have one book. So even the other text might be coming forth by day or so-called book of the day, right? But then even when we think of the Oduifa, it was never compiled. It's something you had to memorize. So you see, again, we're going back to how powerful our minds can be. Over 256 plus narratives that you have to be able to remember. So when your calories drop, you can see the story written on the map. And you couldn't go and compile it in a book.
That's the compilation of it in a book, Brother Daddy, in 2017. I too on the track from the essence of the tradition itself.
I think it adds. It adds to those who will have no other way of accessing it. So that it's very important. However, we shouldn't then go and make the same mistake as others have made, where they then say, okay, this book defines from now till forever what everything else can be, because you don't know which energy is going to be born soon. That might then bring us to another phase where that is, it's not like it's no longer important, but it was just a stepping stone.
So this is the final testament. Everything else feels insignificant.
Well, I'm aware that there are people that say that they have the book, the language, the authentic African language, and if you're not speaking that authentic African language, everything else you're speaking is not African.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you this question in relation to this book vibration, because now we've done a lot of work as African spiritualists in terms of validating African spirituality and centralizing traditions of Mama Africa in terms of its relevance to African people. Whereas once Africans who are in Abrahamic religions would, generally speaking, just look past African spirituality and affirm their own, even in a black-centered consciousness, affirm one of these faiths as the original religion of the black man and woman. Now, and wouldn't even just to ignore African spirituality. Now they're attempting to centralize Christianity, Islam, and Judaism as African culture or as forms of African spirituality, and are charging us with not teaching the full truth if we do not include Abrahamic religions as African spirituality. So, I mean, now I want to know, Brother Dalian, have you included Christianity, Islam, or Judaism in Ancestral Voices too, as African spirituality?
No, of course not.
Why not, Brother Dalian?
Because it's very simple, right? These Abrahamic faiths, as much as they claim they all come from the same man, Abraham, all deal with exclusivity. Yes, they think that only each themselves. You know, you're all part of the same thing, but a part of the whole is claiming to be the only correct one. That alone, I'll say, let me leave the confusion for them. Yes. However, it even coming is much later that I discovered, and this was from an academic in the States who said, "Oh yeah, African spirituality includes Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Yeah, I'm sure soon they'll include Hinduism and Buddhism. It's big in Africa now. But and they say they include that because Africans have now found a way to Christianize or Islamize these Abrahamic faiths, and to me that kind of, it doesn't really make any sense. I don't know how you can do that. You know, it's originally your story. The story was, let's say, 10 chapters. Somebody's now giving you half of a chapter, telling you this is what it is, and then now you're going to see that it's part of it. So, you know, one of the things that, and I'm keen that we do this, is put that is an African indigenous, whether we want to call it spirituality, the indigenous means we're getting it from the land, because it's lit, because we can still see it now. You might not see the full thing, but you see it still there. And, you know, whether it's public ceremonies or whatnot, it's still there. Yes, so we can't include just that tiny piece. And the way it's been brought back to us, it's no longer just a system of, you know, living to or becoming the best you can be. It's now becoming appropriating somebody else's culture, you know. So you say you're a Muslim, you have to wear a beard and you wear this long robe, or you know, if it's a Christian, you also have to wear an Arabic name. Exactly. And then you say God only speaks that language. So what's the rest of the languages doing here?
Arabic is the mother of all languages.
Brother Leader, some would say that Arabic is an African language. It's our language originally. And the Arab man, the people that are called Arabs, bastardized the language and robbed it from us. The Arab robbed Arabic from the African, from Leader.
Well, show me that era in African history where Africanness was celebrated through the Arabic language and the Arabic culture. And why was our African traditions condemned through the Hebrew and the Christian and the Arabic Muslim tradition? And this thing called, you know, their particular brand of monotheism is a problem for us as African people. It's completely alien to us, because we have the concept of the pantheon, the all and one. We talk about Pan-Africanism. We talk about the allness and oneness of our people. The Africans have always seen Godness, or the creator, the divine creator of the universe, supreme being, the allness of the supreme being and the oneness of the supreme being. So that concept of the creator being this monotheistic being that can only answer to a name in one particular language, you know, and only hears one particular language. That's foolishness. That's gobbledygook to the African. But let me just say also that there's a reason why they're doing this, because they've lost the argument. They've lost the war. And the only way that they can maintain any credibility is to now tie it to African tradition. It's a fact. I mean, one time they were trying that tell you that why you focusing on one area of African spirituality was condemned. It was consigned to the dungeons of time, you know, and they thought it was dead and done and dusted. And Alkebu-Lan sprung up, and Rastafari sprung up, and Brother Dalian sprung up with his works, and Asara Set Society sprung up, and we all started Condomble and Santeria sprung up. And so many image of the white man's heart, which has always brought us to shame or pain or whatever it is. And listen to the God of liberty that speaks through all our hearts. Yeah? And so they realize this, you cannot destroy this. And since it comes out of the original people of the earth, if our thing is going to have any credibility,
you have to try to, you can't beat them, giant.
Just like how the Europeans know, say, if his very gene to sustain itself, you have to have a dip in the African gene. You understand what I'm saying? You have to dip in the African spiritual. No, not on the African spiritual to have any kind of credibility. Not authentic. Go ahead. And I give you the book of Exodus again. Go to the book of Exodus. That's spiritual warfare waged on our African ancestors and our African spiritual.
And the book of Exodus applies to all three of them.
The book of Exodus has been given credence by all three religions.
Okay.
The Old Testament, the New Testament, and the final testament. Sorry.
We have a question. Yes, very quickly. Primarily goes against the spiritual concept of Ubuntu. I am because we are. How can we all be if you're telling me I'm going to this barbecue and you're going to this white glistening place? So it can't. But most importantly, a lot of, especially the pastors in Africa now, are bringing in a lot of these concepts. So one of the things they now keep telling you, oh, you're God within, you need to look within. But when I was growing up, God was up there. There was nowhere near you, much more in you. You know, so
you were born in sin and shaped in iniquity.
Mama, we know that you're live on African Spiritual. It's a pleasure to have you. What's your contribution this evening?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Mama.
Greetings, Mama. We know that.
I'm not going to take wasting time. Just a bit of contribution based on what we've discussed so far. You know, the reality is that it's important for those who have made themselves our enemy for us to go on the roundabout, because they know that once we touch the source of our original way of being, they know that they've lost the battle. So we need to take note of that.
Don't go yet, Mama. We know that. I've been meaning to call you all last week. I'm going to be calling you tomorrow. You there? Okay, but if you're listening, Mama, we know that I'm going to be giving you a call tomorrow. Yeah, give thanks to that powerful, short but powerful contribution.
If you've ever heard Mama Win do perform a libation, you know, say, have you met Mama? No, you need to meet her.
You've got 1 minute, so you have about 5 calls, 1 minute each. 020793193074. That's 0207193074. Discussion this evening is Abrahamic religions. Will we ever give them up?
So, we have a caller on the line. Tenamwari, the 963. You're live on African Spiritual. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's your contribution?
Yeah,
Tenamwari.
Studio.
Your name, please?
Yes, Ray.
Reasons for Ray. Oh, is that Ray? Ray Ibukari?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, yeah. The question that you're asking, I think, is really important, because I think all these 3 Abrahamic religions, which is what they are, okay, is your conqueror's religion. That's plain and simple as that. And if you're following your conqueror's religion, it's imperialist conquerors, enslavement, colonialist religion, okay, which they've imposed and enforced on our people for over 2,000 years. And it's been a process of that. People can study the knowledge around how they impose and enforce these religions, okay, over these hundreds of years. They can see a pattern, yeah. But we're not going to get rid of these religions, okay, basically, because all these religions are based on these so-called holy books, as the brother was saying, yeah, which really, you can put any content to say that Black people was in the Bible. You can say that if you want, but who actually wrote these books?
Right.
Maybe one Black African person that one page out of these books, you never get any answer. It shows you, yeah, they're the ones that's printing these and distributing, manufacturing these books and distributing all over the place where we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think that there's a lot of hypocrisy. I just want to notice there's a lot of hypocrisy with some of our people. Like, we've got to find ourselves in these books, okay, to defend African culture or ancient culture, or what it is, to say that, you know, these religions come from Africa, which is, in some sense, you know, there is fragments of that. That's true. You know what I'm saying? But you can't use something that somebody's actually, you know, reinterpreted or reinvented or redefined and say that's part of your, you know, your spirituality.
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Yes, sir. So for me, you know, there's a lot of African, black, Pan-African, African-centered people, African conscious people that still use these books. Yeah? And try to endorse it or advocate when really aiding and abetting, you know, white supremacists, imperialists, enslavement, you know, colonialists. Yes. Yeah? And the second thing I want to say, African spirituality very needs to be defined, because everybody's saying African spirituality, and they're not really putting no buildings up to define that. Right. Example of that, and I think the nearest person that you can use as an example is Dr. Malachi C. Okay. Yeah, that actually did do something in that terms, even though he used all of those religions plus more. And I want to leave it as that. And I want to pick up the brother for bringing his information and keeping the works going and keeping the stance. Yeah. None of these religions is for us, yeah?
Thank you very much, Brother Ray. Brother Ray is kind of preempted my next question, which was related to the previous question I asked. Yes. But it was, because nowadays what we're seeing a lot, even traditionalists are looking. I saw a video of a elder in Ghana, Ashanti. He's speaking to a group of Ashanti, and he was emphasizing and impressing upon the Ashanti that the Ashanti came from Israel, and therefore part of the original Hebrew family and these kinds of things. And this man's not a Hebrew, or he's not proclaiming any Abrahamic religion, but he still feels the need to emphasize this Hebrew connection. What's that about, Brother Dalian? What's the, as an Ashanti man, please explain.
Wow, you know, what's the best way for me to explain this? It shows you how people are very susceptible to what they perceive to be power.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So now we have this place which, mind you, really was only created in recent memory called Israel. Yeah. And then now everybody, because we all know of the power that Israel can influence on people, all of a sudden everybody wants to associate themselves with Israel. It's not just the Samasanti people, the Ghana people are also now saying it in earnest. The Igbos are also saying it in earnest. Yorubas are also saying it in earnest. I used to live with a Zimbabwean brother, I believe he's Shona as well. He's also, he used to come and show me how some of the ancestral practices meant that they were Jewish. So I said, you know, the word Jewish is actually also very recent. I think if you told me you were a Hebrew Israelite, maybe then I would then think you kind of know what you're talking about. But no, really, people are just looking to position themselves near what they perceive to be power. Okay. And in this case, this is power which is destructive. It's not power which is even life-giving. Right. So people just want to kind of attach themselves there. Maybe if the people in now call the Jews had been given Uganda instead, all of a sudden everybody will now be saying that I'm from Uganda. Let's be real here. They're searching for modern symbols of power. Right. Yes, because unfortunately they cannot see any of that in their ancestral history. Yes. That's what I think.
Okay. Do you want to comment on this already now?
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, the term Hyksos was referring to the people who came from that part of that you know, when these people came from that part of across the water and invaded the African continent, and it means strangers, people from strange lands. Yes. Yeah. So how is it that now this is our indigenous territory, and our indigenous people originated. The people of Kemet, you know, and before this concept of Hebrew, the ancient Kemetians are the concept of the Hebrew. And these ancient Kemetians look to the south and call the people of the south.
The east, the south.
They look to the south, not east.
They're talking about Kush, Sudan, Ethiopia,
Uganda, even down to Uganda. They said they call the people of the south Kante, which means people of origin. And they said they came from the south, from the foothill of the mountain of the moon where the God happy dwell. So how is it that now we relocate our origin in Israel? There's some confusion going on.
I think part of it, we don't have time to go into it, but part of it comes from the fact of migration patterns.
Yeah, you're right. Palestine.
But there is evidence to suggest that in terms of going up the Nile, some of us did venture, like, so that we didn't go all the way up the Nile. So we went up so, some of us went so, and then some of us went so. So there's an argument that some of us were actually there before we actually reached the Kemet. And
we didn't originate from there.
No, I know, but it's part of the confusion. Yes, I won't say he was not lost, he was exploring, right? You know what I'm saying? But what it is?
We originated there.
No, what it is already that?
We originated on the African continent.
Yeah, that's a fact. Well, I think what it is that one of the problems is that people reduce Nile Valley civilization to Kemet alone. And when we do that, we fall into problems because you know, Nile Valley is larger than Kemet. You know what I'm saying? And Kemet is the youngest of the Nile Valley civilizations.
Well, the people of Kemet said they came from the foothill of the mountain of the moon where the God happy dwell. That's Uganda, Tanzania, that kind of area. That's over 4,000 miles away. That's over 4,000 miles of African land.
All right.
4,160 miles to be exact. Enough land.
So that works. Geography lessons.
That's not just Kemet. That's the whole Nile Valley.
And everything on Africa. This evening. Our last call, the 643 live on African Spiritual.
1 minute. Sorry, my brother sister. Can you give your name, please?
This is Okello.
Brother who? Okello. Blessings, greetings.
Blessed brother.
Your phone is distorted. I don't know if you need to take it off a loudspeaker.
We can hear you, bro. Go ahead. Hotel.
The land that everybody refers to as Uganda, this reminds me of Kitara.
Repeat that, my brother, one more time.
Did you get that?
Not quite. Repeat it one more time.
The real name of Uganda is Kitara.
Kitara,
Yes. Not Uganda's name, but it's
yes, we know that, bro. Yes.
It favored the certain kingdom that helped the British to colonize.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The real name, as we have Kemet, the real name should be Kitara. If you can remind everyone.
Kitara. Beautiful. Thank you for educating us. Yes.
And many thanks for today's show.
Thank you very much, brother. Is it Okello? Okello, yeah. Very a very important point. We know that our lands have been misnomed and misnamed for the last century at least. You know what I'm saying? And so it's very important that brothers and sisters we do that sankofa in terms of finding what our original names were, and even the ones that we're going to count might be the most recent of our original names. Probably have older names. But we start we start from where we are at the moment. You know what I'm saying? And we find our way back. To those original concepts. We've got 5 minutes, 4 minutes left in the show, so we're going to take some closing words. Yes, Brother Dalian, do you speak to anybody from the UK in Ancestral Voices? Two, because you did part 1.
Yes.
Yes.
Only a most eminent historian.
Okay. I'm inching towards a part 3 here.
But I tell you what, that part 3 is gonna have to come from the institutions at this point. You know what I mean?
Right.
SOAS have been quite good to us. But you know, it's not a slight on them, but they can do more. You know, they could have put some funds where needed because they could see the work.
No, definitely. The only reason I'm being a bit facetious, but in terms of how Africans are, the work that Africans are doing to institutionalize African spirituality, we need to raise the profile.
No, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but it's not your job alone. So we're discussing you today.
I need to spend some more time now with my children.
Indeed.
But if we're going to do a part 3 at the risk of someone taking the idea, but why not? It's not mine alone.
Yes, sir.
Someone needs to go and bring in, you know, the kind of Pacific island type area. Where, people unfortunately called Aborigines small ones. Because you know, I've been doing a lot of reading on there.
I recently too. Yes. It's exactly.
You know, if you've met the brother Ben Wenda, from the indigenous
people movement,
he tell you the same thing in their oral traditions, where they point from that they say they came
is Africa,
straight back to him. So we need to not leave them too out of the conversation.
That's right. That's more work to be done. Well, bro, we don't. Whatever more work needs to be done, you have brought us closer. Yeah, and so your effort is monumental in that regard. And I'm saying, even if you don't need another film, bro, you've done a good work. So we give thanks. Yeah, we're gonna get a closing word from bro. First and foremost, let's give people the details about Saturday one more time.
Okay, yes. So Saturday, the film premiere is at Ritzy Cinemas in Brixton from 3 to 6. It's currently taking online bookings. We only have 12 seats left as of this morning.
Okay.
So you know, if you're interested, please don't leave it till the day to get down there, because I have a feeling there won't be any spaces. Yes. So try and get in early. We don't have any other dates to screen yet, apart from Birmingham on the 23rd. But you know, ideally, if you can get in now, because from some of the people I know coming, the discussion is going to be
very, very serious. Yes, sir. And brothers and sisters, even if you don't get in, just come and jam in the lounge. When we come out, we want to see your faces. You know what I'm saying? Support the film. Even if you don't get into the film, just to come and support the film. Feel the energy, brothers and sisters. Brother Leader, closing words, please.
I just want to echo the commendations that you gave to brother Dalian this evening. You have made a fantastic contribution to the revival and even the reconstruction of our African spiritual traditions. You know, and I love the emphasis that you give to the synthesis of our spiritual traditions.
Yes,
all of them are important. Yes. All of them are part and are elements of the one expression. That's a very, very powerful thing. I do also want to say, tomorrow evening is our Vimbo Verenda, brothers and sisters, and we're continuing our discussion on rites of passage or rites of passage tradition. Vimbo Verenda is our African spiritual study of our African spiritual systems. So please do join us tomorrow. Sister Kai will give you the details. And I just want to say very quickly, beloved, our brother, and all that, nothing we said this evening was intended to insult anyone. We have Africans who practice Abrahamic religions. We love all of them, of course, and we know that some of them are sincerely trying to embrace their Africanness and their African spirituality, and we celebrate all of that. And all Africans who are doing good work, regardless of what religions. And I do want to say to our brother that called, the last caller that we had, his name I've forgotten. Yes, who gave us the name for Uganda, Kitara, I think it was. Just to say that the name Uganda comes from the indigenous people called the Buganda people. And they involve a number of subgroups and also constitutes a spiritual system. So it's not a violation. No. The word Uganda is not a violation. In and of itself. It's not a violation. There are other names like Nigeria that are problematic. Not our team. But this is an authentic African concept, an authentic.
Very important point. Thanks for that, Brother Leader. Brother Leader mentioned tomorrow, Vimbo Verenga studies in African spirituality. We are at Mama Africa Culture every Tuesday, every Tuesday from 7:30 p.m. and I'm sure Brother Dalian is going to join us for a session at some point as teacher and possibly as student as well, because we the best students are the best teachers and the best teachers are the best students. So we perform both functions. So yes, tomorrow.
We're particularly looking forward to you in the seat of a teacher.
Yes.
I hope we can see a day before we part this evening.
So tomorrow, part two is tomorrow is on. It's part two of our focus on rites of passage, kings and queens. Rites of passage in terms of how we initiate our boys into men and our girls into women. We look at this in its spiritual context, kings and queens, as an essential part of the African communal value system. So that takes place tomorrow, kings and queens, in Morenga. Studies in African spirituality tomorrow. Mama Africa Coach Shop, 282 Harold Leighton, Eaton 5 PW, from 7:30 p.m. You can check Alkebu-Lan.org/study for more information. And also Shumira. The aim of Shumira is to reinstitutionalize African spirituality and African-centered modes of worship and ritual among the African community, as well as to provide a focal point for culturally appropriate community development and nation building taking place every first Sunday of the month. Kings and Queens at Chestnut Community Centre, 280 St. Anne's Road, N15 5BN from 12 p.m. Alkebu-Lan.org/Shumira. Shumira spelled SHUMIRA, King and Queen. This has been Afrikan Spiritual Alkebu-Lan on Galaxy Radio, the only brainwashing station. We have to thank Brother Dalian Adofo and Sister Verona Spence Adofo and the entire Ancestral Voices team for joining us on Afrikan Spiritual Alkebu-Lan today. We look forward to seeing you at the launch on Saturday. Up next, we have our brother, our illustrious brother, SG Vibes at the top of the hour. He's back with us, Kings and Queens. So do stay locked on to the Big G Galaxy Radio. And tune in next week as we continue to talk it straight and make it plain. Around here we say, Tendai Mari. Yeah.
Thank you very much, man. See, that's good, you know. It's good. Together we share, we learn more. It's not one person knowledge alone. Yeah, man. I really like that. The book. Yeah. That's the ultimate book. It is. It never goes out of fashion. No, it never goes out of fashion. You can't exhaust it either. And the knowledge always be relevant. Absolutely.
Yeah, no. I meant in the context of
and the author of that book is the creator of the universe. You can't argue that. No, you can't argue that text.
Surely, definitely. You just write the text. It's in the text.
It's in the text.
You know? Yes. And come over.